I'm really excited to be here today. We've got a great topic in store because this is the dream of most people, and we want to make sure you get your dreams come true. And that means that multifamily investing is going to get you to where you want to go faster. I know everybody starts about talking about wholesaling and the Burr method, and the 100 different ways to do real estate. But you know what? They're just little trinkets, little tidbits to get you to the point where you might feel comfortable doing a multifamily deal. But let me tell you what, people, why not just put the effort into multifamily investing right away and start with somebody who's done it before hundreds of times, who owns thousands of doors. And this is what I wanted to share with you today. Charles Dobens, not only an apartment investor, but he's a multifamily attorney. So he knows this stuff forwards, backwards, inside and out, and he's helped multiple people stop from getting into bad deals and actually analyzing deals to get people into great deals. So, guys, you got to hang around with people that are going to get you to where you got to go faster. So hence, it's important that you listen to this entire call, and there'll be a special surprise at the end, but you have to listen the entire time, and you're going to want to take notes. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Charles Dobens, the multi-investor attorney. So take it away, Charles.
Thank you, Duncan. I thought you were going to say the multifamily thespian. I thought that's what you were going to actually say, the multifamily actor. No, I tell you, Duncan, I've been doing this now. I mean, gosh, remember?
Yeah, you're old.
I'm old. I'm 72 for crying out loud. And the thing is that you have been with me for all of that time. It's been quite an amazing ride. But I appreciate the introduction, and I want to tell people, explain what you're about to see is a new concept in real estate training. I've been doing this for so long, and the thing that my goal is to help people succeed, and that if I can come up with a better mousetrap to get more people across that finish line, then I'm doing it. And that's exactly what we've come up with here with this multifamily investing cohort program. Whereas, just an example, I've had sometimes in some of my cohorts, over 30% of the people in my program end up owning a property. That is an unbelievable. And then we all work together towards getting people there. And that's what distinguishes us. So, Duncan, give me the opportunity now for an hour or so, and I'm going to walk everybody through why multifamily is so great and why this cohort program is exactly what you need to succeed. So, are you ready to get started?
I'm ready, Charles. So let's get them going. Take it away.
All right.
Let me jump on over here. All right. So, thank you, Duncan, for introducing me. And hello, Kelly. It's nice to see you. There she is. And let's say, I'm not going to admit anybody. Obviously, you guys are going to do all that. But I'm the owner of Dobbins Law. I also have a law firm in Andover, Mass. I'm actually in my home studio here in Nashua, New Hampshire, where I was originally. That's kind of where I got my start in the multifamily business. Founder of the Multifamily Investing Academy. That's like my educational arm. That's what I teach people. How to get into this great business. And also I created the Multifamily OS, which is kind of, I trademarked it. It's kind of, if you are familiar with Gino Wickman's book, EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, I've created the Multifamily OS, which is really a way for you to build all the aspects of your multifamily business so that you can be a success. And one of the things that I stress in all of my teachings is that this is a business. And for you to achieve the successes you want to achieve in this industry, you must come at it with the approach that this is a business, and I'm going to build a business that I'll be able to leave a legacy with. I'll be able to leave my kids. And I have many students right now who have started with me years ago and have built up a business that they are bringing their next generation in already. So I'm going to talk to you today about achieving your multifamily investing goals in just 6 months with the support you need to make your dreams a reality. And this is the new focus that I'm going with, and I'll tell you why as we go through it. But you'll hear me say quite a bit this word called cohort. And a cohort is a group of like-minded people all working together towards a common goal. So what we're going to cover here today is I'm going to talk about overcoming confidence issues, which I have seen as being the biggest problem that people have about getting into this business. And why work with me? Well, listen, I've been there. I've done that. I've made all the mistakes and I've had the successes, and I've helped hundreds of investors achieve their goals in multifamily. Then I'm going to talk about how to work with the Multifamily Investing Academy Multifamily Cohort Program. I'm going to show you how we work together to get deals done. Instead of just going by yourself, you're going to go with a group. Also, I'm going to talk about, let me just minimize this. I'm going to talk about why some people succeed and others just don't. And it's understanding the gap between the aspiration and the achievement. And then finally, we're going to talk about moving forward, getting your first deal and showing you exactly how to do it. But if you're ready to go and you want to just get started now, you can take down this email address, Molly at Multifamily OS. Molly's my assistant. Drop her a line, put application in the subject line, and we'll get back to you to answer any questions you have and discuss with you how our cohort program actually works. It is an application process. We don't take everybody. We want to achieve success. And, because you're being brought into a group of other like-minded people, we want to make sure that everybody that's coming in is competent and can achieve goals. So let's start by taking a quick poll. Duncan and Kelly, please keep your eye on the chat box because I don't see it. But everybody, type a 1 in the chat box if you've ever looked at a multifamily deal online but weren't sure what next step you should take. And go ahead and type that in there and let me know what how we're doing. Okay, good. Yep, there's a chat. Oh, they're filling up. Good. Yep. Excellent. Excellent. I know how you feel. I know how you feel. And that's probably the first thing that we overcome in the program is letting everybody understand what they need to do to be a success. Let me see number 2's. If you've always wanted to invest in apartments, but you just felt overwhelmed by the process and you just felt like you just couldn't make a move. Go ahead, type number 2. And I can see this. Let me take a look here. I'm going to go and just check. Let me see. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Good. Rob, Dan Marasco, Ed Spooner, Ingrid. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Alexis. Exactly. Okay, let's talk about this because this is what I see all the time when I'm training people. But let me tell you more about my story. Let me get here. Okay. You are going to see me referencing my first boss quite a bit in this presentation. At 16, I started working at McDonald's, and little did I know that everything I learned at McDonald's, they were teaching me all the things you need to do to run a successful business. Problem was, I just didn't realize it at the time. You see, Ray Kroc, my first boss, and there he is, Ray Kroc understood that in order to make billions, you've got to give a person, a 16-year-old kid, just the tools and the tasks to accomplish one job and create a system. And that is exactly what Multifamily OS is all about. We've created the system that you need in order to put everything into place. And that's what this cohort program is all about. And this is what Ray Kroc said: if you work just for the money, you'll never make it. But if you love what you're doing, success will be yours. And I can tell you right now, folks, I'm sitting here in my office, and I'm already looking forward to tomorrow. God willing, what the chaplain of FD NYFD, FDNY, the first death of a firefighter in the World Trade Center. He was known for making the statement, if you want to make God laugh, tell him what you're going to do tomorrow. And but I'm, God willing, I hope that I will be able to come back in here and get back to work and help people achieve their goals. Now, my first job in multifamily actually happened when I was in college. And this is the building. And folks, I have put this picture up before, and people have looked at it and knew exactly where it was. This happens to be 1501 Beacon Street in Brookline, Mass, right between Washington Square and Coolidge Corner. It is a Class A, beautiful, gorgeous building, and I was the doorman. In college, best job you could possibly have. I was the doorman sitting right there in the front desk, the second shift, so that I could study right at the desk and greet everybody. And the owner of this building, Mr. Rand, would drive in once a month with his white Rolls-Royce Corniche convertible and get out, spend the day in the office, counting his money, paying his bills, getting back in his car, driving away. And I thought to myself, that is exactly the job I want to do. But I didn't. I took the path of least resistance. I didn't know how to get in multifamily. I was afraid. I lacked confidence. And I ended up taking the path of least resistance, which was in the insurance business. Now, here is my dearly departed father. This is him at age 80 with a broken neck. Slipped and fell on a hill in Ireland and broke his neck. And we had to fly him home, and he lived a couple more years, and he just greatest man in the world. But I started working with him in the insurance business, and I tell you one thing that I thought I was having a good year. And in the insurance business, to have a good year, you sell 100 policies in a year. If you sell 100 policies in a year, you're going to be a success. And one year, it's about October, and I'm on track for making Centurion 100 policies in one year. And I walk up to my dad and I said, "Hey, Dad, I'm on track for making Centurion. Have you ever done that?" And he looks at me and he says, "What, are you kidding me? I've made double Centurion for the last 10 years straight." And I thought, damn, I'm never going to be as good as my father in this business. And I don't even like this business. So I decided right then and there that I was going to go, let me see, why doesn't it switch? I'm going to go back to school. And what I always wanted to do was be a lawyer. And so I did. And I went to law school while I worked during the day, and I did law school nights. And I graduated, and I realized that it's a great job, but it's a job. And you can work hard, but you're always just trading your time for money. That's it. And you only have a limited amount of time. So very few lawyers make a lot of money and leave a legacy. They work for the wage. And that's the problem with being a lawyer. As a matter of fact, what one lawyer said to me, he said, he was an 80-year-old lawyer still working. And he said, "Charlie, the law would be an excellent profession if it wasn't for lawyers or the law." And I thought, oh man, I gotta do something different. I gotta start, building up net worth so that I don't have to do this in my older years. And so, and as a matter of fact, many of you, during COVID, all of a sudden, people's names and occupation names were being changed, and everyone was a first responder. Got to protect the first responders. Got to protect, and then I thought, well, you know what? I want to change the look of lawyers from ambulance chasers to second responders, and so that's what I was. I was a second responder. So let's talk about building assets over not just trading your time, which is what I was doing. And so when I continued practicing law, I started buying apartments. And as you can see here, these are just, I've owned over 1,000 apartments. That's actually the name of my book, How to Own 1,000 Apartments in 5 Years. I've owned, all these are pictures of all the properties I've owned, just some of them, as a matter of fact. And I'm in the process, right now, I'm in the process of closing on a hotel with my partners in a cohort program. And we're very excited. That's going to be coming up in mid-January. So let me just kind of give you an idea of what I have done. I have owned A-class properties, excellent properties, the kind of properties you forget you even own. B-class properties are great assets to own as well. You as we are about to talk about, and I heard Duncan mention it before, we look for value add B-class properties. I've owned C-class properties, and I actually have a bumper sticker that I give out at my presentations that says life is too short to own C-class property. Now, I've had a student come up to me and say, Charlie, I hate it when you say that because I've made so much money owning C-class property. And I said, Doug, that's fantastic. I'm so glad for you. I don't own a tool belt. And I don't have the time in my busy day to be worried about getting out there and rehabbing and renovating properties. And C-class property tenants are tough tenants to have. So I'm staying away from C-class property, but other people make a killing with it. I've owned D-class property, war zones. Don't do it. I've done no money down deals. Seriously, no money down deals where the bank said, sign here and it's yours. I've done master lease options. I've assumed existing mortgages. I've owned property, as I mentioned before, that I forgot I owned, and then I've owned property that I wish I never laid my eyes on. I've seen it all. And so when students bring me deals, when we start working together, I tell you, let me tell you what it's like owning this type of property. And I'm going to actually show you one of my guys later on of a property. I said, you are buying this property because that's how good it was. I am not a guru. I am an expert. I went to school for this. I'm a lawyer. I am not your lawyer unless you hired me as your lawyer. But as far as teaching you and being your partner, I am not practicing law. I am teaching you how to do it just like you would with any type of expert. And I'm also going to have you hire a lawyer. Now, why do I do what I do? It's because I absolutely love what I do. When I was that young buck insurance agent out of college, I remember talking to my manager. Nice guy. We're still friends to this day. He sponsored me for membership at the National Country Club. Great guy. Very successful insurance agent. I said, Tim, why did you get out of the field and go into management? I mean, you have to, now you're working for the man. Before that, you were, your own boss. And he says, Charlie, I love seeing you succeed. And as a 22-year-old kid right out of college, I thought that was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard in my life because I was all about me. Fast forward, God knows how many years, 40 years, almost 40 years. I now know what he meant. I get it. Now I love seeing my students succeed. And that's the name. That's why I do what I do. You know, as my old first boss said, the more I help others to succeed, the more I succeed. And I could not agree with my boss more. Now, I was teaching at Babson when I had a seminar in Babson. And I said something to the effect of what I'm about to show you, and I was amazed at people's reactions. Okay, let me show you what the shortest horror story is. Tomorrow is Monday. How many people live like that? Where you're afraid of Mondays. Sunday night is the worst time of the week because it's always followed by Monday morning. That's the way I felt. I was getting my head beat in Monday mornings. I hated them. And that's why I do what I do. I had to get out of that field. I was miserable. And that's when I decided to start getting into the multifamily world. Tomorrow is Monday. Fastest horror story. Now, why are you here? And obviously you're here because you're an action taker. This is what, Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and you're all here listening to me talk. You need to take action. You want to take action, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And the reason you've got to take action now is someone sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. In addition to Ray Kroc and Warren Buffett, we're going to talk more about in a moment. One of my other great heroes is Colonel Sanders, because at 65 years of age, he lost his restaurant. Eisenhower redirected the highway from in front of his business and sent it in another direction. He went out of business practically overnight, and he had to get started all over again. And we all know who he was, but you never knew that at 65 years of age, he was still trying to get started with his life and find out where his success was. It never matters where you are. Get started today. All right. Let's dig down deeper into multifamily so everybody can understand it. Why is owning multifamily the most unique, business you could ever be in. And this is a true story. It happened at that same Babson conference. I decided to compare owning multifamily to owning a Subway franchise. And I wanted to show people the difference between the two. When I was done, this young couple came up and they said, Charlie, we know exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about that Subway franchise. You are absolutely spot on. Oh, wow, thank you very much. Why? Why do you say that? She goes, because we own a Subway franchise and everything you said is exactly accurate. You see, when you own a Subway franchise, and it's really any business, but I'm singling out a Subway franchise because everybody understands how it works. You make a product, you sell the product for $1, and you hopefully you paid in expenses 80 cents to make that $1, and you generated a profit. If you don't generate a profit, there's no other way you're making money in that business. And so you've got to watch every single dollar that comes in on a Subway franchise because you only have one way to make money. And that's the difference between multifamily and a Subway franchise. With a multifamily business, there are actually 5 ways to make money. 5 ways. When you own that property, there are 5 ways that you're going to generate income. The first one is the cash flow or the profit at the end of the month. That's the money that after you paid all your bills, the money that's left over. That's the profit, just like with a Subway. But here's where things go different. You see, you also get the appreciation as the market changes and goes up, your property appreciates in value. And nowadays, folks, it's getting harder and harder to build these properties. So once you own one, you want to keep buying more and holding on to them. The other way is the mortgage pay down. Your tenants are amortizing your note. You're paying off that note every single month, but you're not paying it. Your tenants are paying it. And as that note gets paid off, at the end of 20 years, you've got an asset free and clear. And you didn't make one payment. Your tenants did. You don't get that with a Subway franchise. The other way is property management. And this is what I teach all of my students. Property management is paying yourself first. I mean, if you listen to Dave Ramsey, he's always saying you pay yourself first. Property management is paying yourself first. I teach all of my students to be their own property managers. You may start out early in the business having someone else using a third-party property administrator, a third-party property management. But I'm telling you right now, as time goes on and as you grow, you're going to become your own property manager. Nobody loves your properties as much as you do. And the beautiful thing about property management is if the property is not appreciating, if you're not turning a profit, you know that the first 5 cents of every dollar that comes through the door goes right into your pocket every single month because you own the property management company. That doesn't happen with a Subway franchise. And then finally, if you're doing deals where you're syndicating the deals, you're out there raising private money, there's the acquisition fee, and then there's the disposition fee. That's where you keep, like, let's say typically it's about 3% of the purchase price. Like for instance, in the deal that we're doing in Louisville for the hotel, we decided not to do an acquisition fee. But typically, you take a 3% acquisition fee. We would have made $180,000 at the closing table, put into our pocket as the general partners on that deal. And that's another way that you get paid that you don't get paid with a Subway franchise. So that's what makes multifamily so unique as a business. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, look at, we don't have to talk about Trump, but we all know how he did it. Now, what holds people back from succeeding in this business? And I'm telling you, folks, it happened to me. It happens to every student I deal with. And my biggest job is not only to help you do these deals and do them all correctly, it's also to coach you and to be your confidant and to hold your hand. There's a student, as a matter of fact, that I met at the Boston RIA Club. He's been a student of mine for years. We're going after a deal down in North Carolina, and he had a seller's interview the other day, and he was terrified. And I said, "What are you afraid of?" And this guy happens to be a doctor, and his partner's a doctor. And he said, I said, what are you afraid of? He goes, I don't know. I've never done this before. I don't know what to say. I don't want to screw it up. I said, let me get on the call with you. I'll be your partner and we'll talk to the seller. By the time we were done, the seller was like begging us to make the offer because he wanted us to buy the property. One of the things I do is overcome this one particular problem. The first thing is confidence. People lack confidence in their abilities. Folks, do you think everyone that got into the multifamily business knew what they were doing the day they started? Absolutely not. But when you have a team of people around you, you can't go wrong. We've seen it all. We're going to help you overcome your lack of confidence and be a success. And another thing is this concept of fear, very similar to having the lack of confidence. Lack of confidence brings about this fear complex. Folks, don't be afraid. What did it said? The 1,500 Harvard alums were surveyed, and they were asked if they could teach their younger self any one thing, what would it be? And they said, don't be afraid. Don't let anything stand in your way. The things that they feared the most never came true. And it's like that, I talked to somebody who's worried about this. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? I said, listen, worry is said to be interest on a debt that never comes due. Don't be afraid. You're going to screw up. It's okay. Just move on. That's the way I tell you, folks, I get involved in so many new things. Nothing scares me anymore because I've seen it all and I'm not afraid. And then finally, lack of resources. This is one of the things like, oh, I don't have the earnest money. Oh, I'm never going to qualify for a mortgage. What if I made sure that you had all the resources you need in the groups? We're going to get you over the finish line. We're going to make sure that you succeed, and you're going to partner with other people early on. That's totally fine. I did. Absolutely. There's so many moving parts in multifamily, you need partners. And if you can have built-in partners to help you solve any lack of resources that you have, this is exactly what you'll need. Now, one of my partners in the hotel deal made a very good statement, and I loved it. He says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And that's exactly what this cohort program is all about. We're going to get you to go with others so that you overcome all of those fears, lack of confidence, lack of resources. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of. So before we move on and talk more about how the program works, let's give you some basics on the multifamily business. And folks, these are the general concepts, but once you understand these general concepts, you are going to be amazed at how easy this business actually is. So there are two schools of thought in building your multifamily business, but let's take a look at both of them. The first one is the Warren Buffett model of multifamily investing. And Warren Buffett hopes that I live to be 100 years old because the older I get, the smarter Warren Buffett becomes. What does Warren Buffett have to do with multifamily investing? First, you have to understand who Warren Buffett is and how he got to his level of success. Now, before I move on, I'm just going to reference back to what Duncan said early on about value adding, finding properties and bringing value to them. Okay? That is the key. That's what made Warren Buffett the man that he is. And more importantly, how you can use these lessons to become the multifamily millionaire. Let's talk about Warren Buffett. He started as a passive investor. Well, so do many of my students. I put 50,000 in that deal. I put 25,000 in that deal. I want to see how it works before I get into it. Warren Buffett did the exact same thing. He rose to prominence through a strategy of value investing by buying up companies that were undervalued. The company that works for Berkshire Hathaway, that was a textile company. He knew nothing about textiles, but he understood business and he understood that property was undervalued. And that's what you're going to learn in this business. He has only paid one distribution to his investors in the entire history of his company. And he even jokes, he says, I think I was in the bathroom when the board of directors voted for that distribution. He retains the money. He keeps it in the business so they can go out and buy more properties. He believes that investors benefit more from the long-term growth of their property than from a yearly cash payment. So that's one total shift in the paradigm that many investors have. Like, well, I got to pay out a distribution. No, you need to go back and buy more property and buy more property. He believes profits are better spent on reinvesting them in the business, especially when the business is intent on growth. Now, understand the alternative to being intent on growth. You're going to be intent on cash flow. Well, the beautiful thing about multifamily is that it provides cash flow. But when it's up and performing, that's great. When the property is needing to add value, you don't want to pay out money. You want to build it into the business. And I'll show you why in just a second. So even with a lack of a preferred return, his business has increased by 3.6 million% between 1964 when he got started and 2021, compared to the S&P's 30,000% increase. All right, so let's recap the Warren Buffett model. He only buys value propositions. He does not give preferred returns to investors. He buys for long-term growth, and he believes in reinvesting his growth back into his business. How many people know multifamily investors or real estate investors who have become massively successful with exactly this premise in their investing strategy? All right, now, before we discuss the second school of thought, let me share with you why multifamily investing is the greatest business in the world. Now, remember, I showed you 5 ways to make money in this business, and that's what set multifamily apart from, made it unique from other businesses. Now, let me show you why it is the greatest business in the world. I'm here to tell you that Einstein was wrong. Write this down. You heard it said that Albert Einstein said the most powerful force in the world is compound interest. I'm here to tell you that's not true. But before I do, you want to know a truth? Einstein never said that. He always gets credit for it, but he never said it. And I've done a deep dive on the internet, and it turns out that people believe this came from the opening monologue to a Johnny Carson episode when Johnny Carson was talking about the power of
We just lose Charles.
No, I
I think
think you
we
got
did.
I'm here. All right, sorry
Okay,
about that.
There he is.
For some reason,
I
it
thought
just
that was Einstein having his revenge.
Oh, what do you know? What do you know? Duncan actually watches these things. Oh, I'm kidding. Hold on, let me get back in here. There we go. Good, good, good. All right. So Einstein never said this. Johnny Carson said it in one of his monologues, and people have built on it. But here's what I have to say. The most powerful force in the world is the power of the multifamily cap rate. Okay? And you can give me attributes for that one. The cap rate is how we value multifamily property. And I'm not going to lose you on this one. You're going to understand by the time we're done how the cap rate works. When you hear people talking about, well, what did it sell for? What did it trade for? What they'll talk about is the cap rate, the capitalization rate. That's essentially a measure of money. And let me explain to you exactly what I mean. Here is the formula. This is the beautiful formula of multifamily investing. Once you understand this formula, you will totally get this business. 3 variables. And as you remember from your algebra class, if you have 2 of the variables, you can easily solve for the third. So if your job is to identify 3 of the variables. Now, when in the multifamily world, we value property by this formula. Emotion has nothing to do with it. Comps have nothing to do with it. Everything that happens is based upon this formula. Once you commit this formula to memory, you will understand this business. So the question that NOI is the net operating income. That's how much, that's essentially the profit that the property generates every year. It doesn't include the mortgage payments. It doesn't include any capital expenditures. It's the profit on the operations of the business. Now, why doesn't it include the mortgage payment? Because if there are two properties right next door to each other, absolutely identical in every respect, and you bought one and I bought the other one, I paid cash for mine and you over leveraged yours. Are the properties going to perform differently? No, the properties are going to perform exactly the same. The cash out of the property that goes into my pocket is going to be different because you have to pay the bank. I don't. But that all has to do with me as a buyer and you as a buyer. It has nothing to do with the properties. So that's why the net operating income is just on the operations of the property. The cap rate is a number that is determined by the market. And A-class properties have different cap rates than C-class properties, even if they're just 2 streets away. So the cap rate is what we are very concerned with. And that's the power that is going to make us millionaires. And you're going to see exactly what I mean in just a moment. That's all there is to it. NOI, cap rate, price. Commit it to memory. And no one will be able to trick you in this business. So let's break it down. The cap rate, I want you to understand, is the measure of effort. How much effort does it take to generate $1? All right. So think about it. If we've got that property that is beautiful on one street, and then we've got a property 2 streets down that is a war zone, which dollar that property generates is going to be easier to make, the A-class property or the D-class property? The D-class property requires a lot more effort. It's going to be a very heavily managed property. The A-class property is the kind of property you forget you even own. The tenants pay their rent on time. Nothing ever breaks. They don't skip in the middle of the night because they're all concerned about their credit ratings. Class A property, the effort is very low. Therefore, the cap rate's going to be low. C-class property, oh my gosh, a lot harder. People pack up their worldly belongings one night when they fall behind on their rents and they skip town. And then you got to go fill it with another tenant. And everything's breaking because this property was built in 1970. And as you all know, things built in 1970 are starting to break quite a bit now. All right. Kelly, you're not supposed to laugh at that. All right. So let me tell you about the tale of 2 multifamily properties. All right. So let's say that 2 properties were built side by each. All right. As we say up here in French Canadian, New Hampshire, 2 eggs side by each, 2 properties side by each. Both built at the same time, both the same age, both directly across the street from each other, so the location is irrelevant. Which one is more valuable? Rob Duvall. Which one is more valuable, number 1 or number 2? I didn't give you enough information, did I, Rob?
Oh, now I'm not muted. I don't think so.
Which you don't think so? What? 1 or 2? Which one is more valuable, 1 or 2?
Oof.
Or did I not give you enough information?
Yeah, I think I could use a little more information.
All right, let me tell you this. They're both exactly the same. Now, you folks that do single family business, those things are the same price. But that's not how we value multifamily. How we value multifamily it takes into consideration the income on the property. So those two properties, Rob, one is 100% occupied,
Mm.
and the second one is empty. Absolutely identical properties. Which one's more valuable?
The one that's fully occupied, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly the same properties, but one is being managed properly and one is not. So which one would we want to buy, Rob?
So we want the one that's fully occupied.
Oh, did you miss the whole thing on Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett looks for value. He's going to go in there and
Ah,
he's going to steal that one that doesn't have any tenants. And he's going to fix it up and he's going to load it up and he's going to make a ton of dough because look at this deal here. He's buying this property at a much higher cap rate, more
mhm.
effort. And when he turns that property, the cap rate comes down. And let me show you, for those of you that are real math whizzes, you know what's going to happen to that when the cap rate comes down. But let me show you exactly, because I'm going to show you how it worked for a student of mine. So, what happens on a 10 cap property when the NOI increases by $1? Somebody do the math. What happens, to put it in the chat box, what happens when the cap, a 10 cap property, you've got the formula. What happens? Take $1 divided by 0.1 and what comes out? Don't make me have to think. Let's hope that my next slide has the right answer. Who's a smart schmarty pants? Dan Marasco, it doubles. No, Dan. Janice, no, guys, no, 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 no. Where's my calculator? Oh, it's over there. No, 10. Rob Duvall. Rob, there's my man. Let me make sure that's right. It goes up by $10. Okay, now you're thinking to yourself, okay, Charlie, I don't quite get it. What's your point here? Okay, Rob bought that C-class property, and that C-class property has a 10 cap. The market is telling all of us those properties trade at a 10 cap. So Rob gets in there and he starts to go to work, and Rob increases the rents on that property so that at the end of the year, a new dollar drops down to the bottom of the line. Rob and his family are $10 richer. Their assets have increased by $10 because
Excuse me.
somebody paid him $1. Now, Rob is going to do that to the tune of $100. But Rob's going to do it not just for $100, he's going to do it for 100 units as well. And so at the end of the year, how does Rob do? You can make a lot more money doing that than trading your time for money. Let's take a look.
What's the range on cap rates?
Oh, it really depends. They can go as high as 15, but see, the thing is that different asset classes have different cap rates. So for example, most multifamilies can go from 3 class A to 7 or 8 C. So that's kind of the typical range. And remember, on average, over the last 100 years, cap rates have only swung 2 points in either direction. We're buying a hotel. Remember, cap rate is the measure of effort. How much effort do you have to take to run a hotel compared to a multifamily? A lot. So cap rates on hotels are higher. So we're buying a hotel. You know what we're going to do with that hotel? We're going to convert it to a multifamily. So we're taking it from a 15 cap down to about a 6 cap. Watch what happens when you work those numbers. Let's do the same example, but this time we're looking at a 6 cap property. That same $1. Do the math. Somebody tell me what this number is. 16.7. Ivelo Kalachev. Good Irish name. Exactly. when you buy a property that has less effort, when you increase it by $1, when you increase that N01 by $1, your kids are wealthier than Rob's kids, whose dad bought a 10 cap. So that's how cap rates work. And when you understand this, you understand multifamily. So let's take a look. Yep, 16.67. You're getting the math here. Your family's net worth is increased by 16.67. And then let's say you buy a 4 cap. What happens with a 4 cap? Brenda, I'm just going to keep muting you just because I can hear your a little feedback. What happens with a 4 cap? Remember, Rob bought a 10 cap, increased it by $1. His family made $10. How much does he make increasing it by $1 at a 4 cap? What's the answer? $25. Exactly. Rob makes $25. So, and the beautiful thing about nicer properties, I'm just telling you this so you understand it. A Class A tenant can easily afford to pay an extra dollar. It's easy for them. A C-class property, an extra dollar makes them wonder whether they're going to get cable that month or not. I'm exaggerating, but I want you to understand how this works. So those people with Class A properties make millions easily. That's why Donald Trump, all these guys who got the Class A's, they make money easily because of all the different ways you make money in this business. All right. Now, let's talk about one of my real life students.
Who determines like whether something's an A, a B, a C, a D? Is that the bank determining it?
Nope. No. A mere mortal does not determine cap rates. The market determines cap rates.
No,
And the cap
I'm
rates,
saying like the class when you're referring to class A, B, C.
yeah. Well, Class A, the thing. So remember, cap rates are determined by the market. The different classes are determined by time. When you build a new property, it's a Class A. You've got the building inspector is on your back. He's making sure everything is sealed properly. You got all the best things, all the best windows, and it's a Class A. And you're going to get a great rent on that property. Then as time goes on, it becomes a B. And they start building more A's. And then yours becomes a C. And before you know it, your neighborhood 40 years later, it ain't no A anymore. So that's what determines the class, typically the class. Now, there are exceptions to every rule except for one. And the exception most people understand is Manhattan. You see, you talk about pre-war construction. Those are beautiful, but that's an exception. So cap rates are determined by the market. Property classes are determined by time.
Gotcha.
Got it? All right, cool. All right, thanks. Good question. All right, so here's my client, Jake. Jake was driving by this property for years, and he watched it get less and less desirable. The owner was letting this thing go, and Jake wanted it. And so Jake found out who the mortgage was with, and it turned out to be with Jake's bank. Jake went down to his lender and said, "Hey, I like that deal. Can I get in that? Can I make that guy an offer?" And the lender said, that property is about to go to a tax sale. We're going to stop it, but we would love for you to buy that property. So Jake went and had breakfast with the seller. I love this story. Jake was calling me up on the ride to the breakfast. And I'm telling, he's like, what do I say? What if he says this? What if I said, Jake, here's how it's going to go. And I told him this. And when he says this, you're going to say this. And this is what you're not going to say because then, and I coached him through the whole entire conversation. He calls me back and says, Charlie, we got a deal. Everything you said came true exactly the way it did. It's like, of course, I've done this a million times. They're all the same. Jake bought this property. His mother is a property manager because that's what she did for years. So he knew that the rents on this property were grossly under market. And he understood the power of the cap rate. And here's what he sent me. This is an actual text. Before and after pictures. First one done. He had an open house just on that one unit. 98 more to go. It was a 99 unit property. Tenant moved in today with $100 increase in rent. 8 other approved applicants walked into the renovated unit and requested the upgraded unit. So then he starts rehabbing units as fast as he can because he gets that $100, new $100 coming in. Remember what happens when that happens. Let's take a look. Do the math. $100 more times 99 units times 12 months. It was about a 6.5 cap market for that type of property. How does his family do? Let's see anyone in the chat. Do the math. And remember, this is the increase. This isn't what the property's worth. This is just what he will increase the value of the property. Let me see. 1.8. Dan, thank you. You're spot on. Look at this. 1.827 million. His family just increased their net worth almost $2 million. But folks, it doesn't stop there because this particular property, as I always say, we're doing this for our kids, for our legacy. By asking tenants to pay $100 more, your children's net worth skyrockets. That's multifamily. Can I do the same thing in my law practice? No. The law practice provides good income, but it doesn't provide assets. But this is not the end of the story for Jake. Here's why. There's the end. He ended up adding more units to the existing properties. The basements were beautiful basements, walkout basements, and he added more units under the basement. So now I think it became about 106 unit property. But then what he did is he became such good friends with the city. The city loved what he did. There was a parcel of land that was owned by the city right behind his buildings. They sold it to him, and he built more apartments. He's done this one deal because he drove by and he kept asking, hey, I can do that. I can do that. And that's what I'm asking you. Are you ready to do this? Is this what you're looking to do? Because this is how millionaires are made in real estate. All right. Over $12 million is what his property is now worth. I think he paid about four or six, somewhere around there. It's now worth over $12 million. It's unbelievable. All right. That is the absolute unbridled power of the cap rate in real life. That's multifamily. When you understand that formula, you understand how millionaires are made. All right. So let's walk through a deal. I'm going to kind of tell you how it's going to go in the cohort program when you're in the cohort program. So let's walk through a couple of the steps. We're going to talk about how to find deals. We're going to go in deep in finding deals. As a matter of fact, I have training, hours of video training showing you how to find multifamily deals. Then we're going to analyze the deals. Don't worry about it. You're not going to understand it early on. I'm going to teach you every step of the way. I have a training program that I have called Understanding Multifamily Accounting Better Than Your Accountant. And you will get it. You will understand just by looking at the financials of a property what a typical day in the life of that little old lady who runs the property is like just by looking at the numbers. Folks, when I got started in this business, I was terrified of financial statements. I just didn't get them. Now I love them. I love them. It's like reading a novel. That's how good it is. And then you're going to present your deal to the cohort members, and you're going to put all the pieces together to get you to the closing table. That's the beautiful thing. So one of the sources that we use is Crexi. All of my students have access to my Crexi. You get an address, we'll get you the Crexi information. It tells you about the bank, where the bank is, how much they paid for it, how long they owned it, who the owners are, what other deals they have in the area. It's a great, great resource, Crexi is. But here's a property that, as you can see where it says down here in the bottom, view OM, view the offering memorandum. Well, the offering memorandum is the broker's pitch deck, okay? So we ask to get the offering memorandum, and then we start digging into the numbers. And so I will walk you through every offering memorandum. We'll sit on calls twice a month. We have live calls where all the cohort members come together and we all talk about different deals, and I show you how to do it, what to do, how to make offers, how to draft the offers. You got me twice a month, and all the time on WhatsApp, and that's how we do it. I'm just checking these. Broke his lie. It broke his lie. Somebody remembers my best lines. So let's take a look at this particular deal. This one is a 12 unit. Is it 12 unit? Where did we say how many units it was? 12 unit. Good size property. I mean, I teach my book, How to Own 1,000 Apartments in 5 Years. I teach people that that you start with 20 in the first year. That's all. And in 5 years, if you just follow my steps, you'll own 1,000 apartments. I did. So that's how you do it. Now, you'll be sent the offering memorandum. Pretty pictures, pretty pictures, pretty pictures. Brokers, will just show you how beautiful it is. But this is what we want to understand. We want to understand the unit breakup, the unit mix, and then we also want to understand how much room there is between the current rents and the market rents. That's going to tell us the first opportunity for us to make money because of the power of the cap rate. So as you can see here, you've got current income pro forma $1,200. The current income pro forma expenses, that doesn't make sense. And then the pro forma is $1,250. So on the studios, we only get $50. That's all we have to push the rents. Now, of course, we're going to own this property for years. We'll keep pushing it. But right now, there's not a lot of vig in the rental numbers. So this one might not be a great look. And then here's the big thing. This is the income and expense statement. Now, remember, look at it's, as you can see here, oops, let me go back. It's called pro forma. Pro forma is Latin for pretend. Okay? Okay, and anyone that took Latin, please give me grace. But for those of you that didn't take Latin, I'm absolutely right. It's pro forma is Latin for pretend. These are made up numbers. These are the numbers that the broker says you'll be able to make because you're so good. The current owner, who's owned it for years, has never been able to achieve those numbers. But because of who you are and you're in the Multifamily Investing Academy cohort program, you're going to hit these numbers. Bull. I know I can say bullshit if I wanted to because I'm talking to Boston people, but I won't. All right. So these are made up numbers, and it's your job is to go in there and figure out where the BS is. Because remember that formula. The guy can't muck around with the cap rate, but he can muck around with the NOI. And that's where we catch him. And that's where we know that we're going to buy a good deal or the guy's trying to screw us over. And I teach you all that stuff. So this is analyzing the deal. And then what we do is we put the numbers in our analyzer, spits out a number. If we like the number, if it gives us the returns that we're looking for, we make an offer. But we always make an offer. That student that I mentioned to you a moment ago who's buying the deal in North Carolina, he and I worked on that deal, made our first offer back in October. And the seller wanted 12 million. And we could only come up with 10.5 million. 10.5 million was the number that worked for us. You always make an offer on the numbers that work for you. Forget what they're asking. The biggest lie in multifamily is the asking price. We said 10.5 million. He said, I'm going to offer 11. Okay, so we offered 11. It was rejected. Okay, it's no big deal. We're always going to get rejected. But we got a phone call last week. It said, is your offer still good? And we said, well, give us updated financials and we'll tell you if it's still good. We got updated financials. We revised our offer to 10.5. We're getting that deal at 10.5. Okay? Because we made an offer. If you're not making offers, this is nothing more than a very expensive hobby. If you're not making offers, this is just you showing up to some webinar on Thursday at 7:00. Make this your business. Make offers. That's the only thing you can control in this business. You can't control if the seller says yes. You can't control if the bank says yes. The only thing you can control is you creating product, and your product is an offer. That's what you have to do. All right.
But can I just make a quick mention? with all of the real estate prices that I've been seeing out there, and I get it. There's a difference between the asking price and your offer price, but they're not. When you crunch the numbers, you're not coming out cash positive.
Well, then you don't make an offer. I mean,
Yeah.
unless this thing has a negative, what we call like a negative cap rate, which means that there's a reason why in a year you can turn this thing around. Like, um, we're always looking for deals. All right. Sometimes there are hidden nuggets, but then there are other times where this seller thinks his baby is beautiful and it ain't. And we're not going to be the guys to lose our shirt. You never, overpaying for a property, you might as well just drop the keys on the bank's desk and walk away. And we're not going to do that. We are investors. We are not retail buyers. We're looking for deals. Remember Warren Buffett. Would Warren Buffett overpay for a property for a business? No. Don't you?
No, there's just not a lot to pick from out there. There's not much inventory.
How many do you need? You just need one. All you need is one yes. All you need is one yes to make it happen. All right. So, how many offers have you made, Brenda, in the last week?
None in the last week, but I'm just observing that the inventory is so low. There's just not enough
Brenda, make offers.
Okay.
Do you know how many people know you're doing this right now? Just you and me. and okay, so you've got to promote your business. This is a business. When I got in the insurance business, I had to pick up the phone and dial and ask people to buy insurance. That's what you have to do in this business. All business is sales and marketing. All business. The law business, the real estate business, the insurance business, it's all sales and marketing. You've got to get out there and let people know who you are. Yeah, deals made when they call you back, not the list, right? Exactly, Janice. And we see that a lot, Janice. And that's a beautiful thing. Oh, let me give you an example. That hotel that we're buying, it was originally on the market for $9 million. Okay. Interest rates started going up. A multifamily converter had got it under contract for $9 million. Interest rates went up. He dropped out. Got it under contract for $7.5 million with a hotelier who was looking to convert it into, keep it as a hotel. Couldn't find a manager for the area, so he backed out. We got it under contract for 6. We wanted 5.8. We got it for 6. Through a whole bunch of problems with this property which worked out to our benefit. That $6 million offer is now closing on January 21st for $5 million plus a $500,000 seller note, no interest, no payments until we refinance the property. We're getting it essentially for $4.5 million. It was originally in the market for $9 million because we made the offer. You hear these stories all the time in this business. You go to RIA Club meetings, you hear people talking about these things. The thing that distinguishes those people from you is that they made the offer. That's the difference. So what we do here in our cohort program is we help you build the business. We help you define your goals. We teach you the acquisition process. And most importantly, and this is the most beautiful thing, is we build the network for you to work in and that you can collaborate in, that will help you with all of the resources that you need. Let me tell you how I came up with this concept. I joined Dan Sullivan's strategic coaching program. I have a coach myself. And in there, once a quarter, we would all come together in Chicago, 25 business people, all different businesses, and would work together. And I thought I should take the same concept to my students where we all work together. And I started off with the hotels to homes conversions, and now I'm bringing it to the multifamily because I know it's going to work great. It worked for the hotels, and now I know it's going to work great for multifamily. So the cohorts between 25 and 30, we're opening it up on January 22nd. We've already got about 12 people in the program right now. And then I'm going to add some of my best students in who I know have great resources. And we're going to have a powerhouse of a cohort. So what we do is we teach you every step of the way. It's a 6-month program. 6 months. We're going to intense training. You're going to become friends with everybody in the cohort. You're going to work together all the time. It's going to be a great group of people all moving in the same direction towards their success in owning property. Let me get back here. All right. None of us is, as my old boss said, none of us is as good as all of us. And one of the things I found out about this business is it can be a lonely business. I mean, look at Rob. He's sitting up in his childhood bedroom right now, all by himself. Rob needs a friend, folks. And he comes here, but that's the whole thing about this business. Not everyone we're working with on a day-to-day basis is doing the same thing we're doing. Not everyone is looking for deals. Sometimes we're the only people in our world to go out there and be attempting to achieve success in another endeavor. And it gets lonely. And I know that. And this cohort program is where we bring all like-minded people, or all people looking to buy multifamily property together. Now, they're all going to be coming from different, one guy owns 8 complexes. And he started with me with 0. And these are the type of people I'm bringing in. I know these guys can close, and you're all going to be working with these people. You're going to be partners with them. All right. So just to kind of give you an overview of how the training is going to go, it starts January 22nd. The first call is on Wednesday. It's at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, Eastern time. And I teach. I teach you about laying the groundwork and launching your business. And we go through everything. We get to know each other. And during that time, you'll be part of our WhatsApp group where you're all talking, bouncing back and forth. Because I want everyone all of my students working together. I am amazed at how many students of mine have left my program and gone off with other students and have done deals together. I love that. As a matter of fact, one of our biggest investors on the hotel deal, they put up $1.45 million. It was a student of mine who owns over 3,000 apartment units. When she started, she didn't own any. And she actually owns a fund, and she invested $1.45 million in my hotel deal. That's what happens when you get out there and start mixing with a group of other people. 2 weeks later, we're going to talk, actually the second month, that first one, laying the groundwork, that's every other Wednesday, I get on and I teach live. And we talk about deals. We talk about what's going on, winning strategies to analyzing deals. I'm going to teach you how to analyze a deal. I'm going to teach you how to understand a multifamily financial statement better than your accountant. Then we get into making your first sale in this business. The first sale in this business is an offer getting accepted. That's really what you're selling. You're trying to convince a salesperson to say yes to your offer. That's your sale. And we're going to help you, show you exactly how to craft an offer. And we're going to do them. We're going to make offers. We're not going to get all of them. Of course not. But we're going to make offers. And then we're going to talk about raising money, both debt and equity. You're going to understand what it takes to close these deals. And you're going to find out, some of you are like, geez, I don't have the resources to make this happen. I need somebody that does. And there'll be people in the cohort program that can help you, and will partner with you to get those things done. I'm bringing all the things together that you need in order to be a success. And then we're going to close those deals, and I'm going to teach you how to run and operate the properties. I own my own property management company. I know how this operates. And then we're going to rinse and repeat. And then 6 months from now, you'll be off with all your friends that you met over the last 6 months doing more deals. Keep hitting this thing the wrong way. Let me see what these notes are. It took me a year to find my apartment building. So yeah, the one I bought had a leaky roof and tenants were moving out. Yeah, Janice, how's it going? That was a year ago. That's out in Utah. So,
Oh no,
go ahead, Janice.
I've owned it for a long time. Rents have doubled over the years, and it's more than double in value. So yeah, I've owned it for a long time.
How much time does it take you? This is your only deal? How many
No,
years?
but it's one of the ones that I still own. My property manager is amazing. He does all the repairs, and he manages, and he puts tenants in. He's a broker and a contractor, so I'm pretty hands off.
Love it. This is where you say to Janice, "Hey, Janice, how do you feel about dating married men?" Just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, but the trick was like I didn't even want the bank wouldn't even was in danger once you got to less than a certain percentage. They weren't going to fund my loan. And so I got the owner to let me vet the new tenants because if one more tenant moved out, my loan would have fallen through because there wouldn't be enough people in it to cover it. So I got him to let me manage it before I even bought it.
Okay, that is really cool because what essentially Janice was doing was a concept called master lease option. She didn't do a full master lease option, but she got in there and started to turn that property around before she even owned it. And that was that's another concept in this book.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Bill Ham who actually wrote the book on master lease options, and he sent me a copy of his book. And in you pull out he wrote me a little note inside the book, and it said, thanks for everything you taught me. My wife and I actually taught him how to do master lease options, and now he's writing books on how to do it. So it's pretty cool. All right, now let me tell you
I'm
about
just
three.
saying, yeah, the deal's never in the list price, so don't worry about what's listed.
The list price is a lie. It's a lie. Just forget about it. Make the offer that works for you. And folks, here's the deal. Here's the deal. There's no emotion involved. Your offer is supported by that formula I just showed you. All you have to do is put those numbers in. And they say, "Oh, this is ridiculously low. How dare you come up with this number?" And I say, "Hey, listen, your NOI is baloney. There's no possible way that you can run a C-class property with a 38% expense ratio. Just not going to happen." Oh well, well, he manages it himself. I don't care. I don't care. You got to put in the cost of the management because I'm not going to manage it myself, and so I got to build that cost in there. So these are the games that the brokers play. But when you base it upon the numbers on the formula, the number just makes sense. It is what it is. You make the offer based upon that. Well, this is a 4 cap property. I'm like, listen, let me tell you something, pal. No bank is going to lend me money on that property when it's valued at a 4 cap. Just not going to happen. And you blame everything on the bank. So this is how you negotiate with the brokers. It's all logical. It's all logical. So I teach you how to make the offers that are logical. You've got nothing to apologize for. My student who made the offer at 10 and a half. Oh my gosh. Guess what they're going to accept? 12 million was a lie. They're accepting 10 and a half because that's the right number. Now we're thinking 10 and a half might be too much because the numbers might not be working out. All right. So let me tell you about 3 clients of mine who've done exactly what I taught them and have now achieved the success that you're probably looking to achieve right now. All right. First, guys, does anybody here recognize these gentlemen? Alex and Harrison. Does anybody know these guys? I met them at a Boston RIA. The name of their company is WollastonREI.com. Wollaston REI. They were over in Wollaston. They realized that they were having trouble making deals work in the Boston area for multifamily. And I get it. I totally get it. Boston is a very low cap rate. You're not buying for cash flow, you're buying for appreciation. So they decided to move west, young man. And they moved out to the Springfield area and the Chicopee area, what just north of Springfield. Um, they are killing it. They own hundreds of units now. The mayor is on their speed dial. If the mayor has a problem with the property, he calls these guys. They are doing great things. I recommend you follow these guys, WollastonREI.com. Tell them I sent you. All right, here's Dave Barker. Dave Barker started with me almost 10 years ago, and he is in my hotel conversion cohort. And David, he brought me a property 10 years ago, and I said, "No, don't buy this property." And he said, "No, I like this property. I'm gonna buy this one." I said, "No, you're not gonna like this one. It's a bad one." He went through the due diligence process, and I said, guess what? This is not a good deal. He said, "You're right. I'm going to get out of this deal." I said, Thank you. You wasted time. That's fine. You learned a ton. Now let's go out and find the next deal. He brought me a 55 unit deal. I said, this is your property. You're buying this property. This one's a sweetheart. He's owned it for the last 10 years. One of my biggest investors, who you're going to see in just a moment, one of my biggest clients invested in his deal. Said it's one of the most profitable investments he's ever made in this property. And so that's how we all work together. And then this guy, Bob Bryanton, one of my dearest friends. I love this man to death. From New Hampshire, lives in Asheville, North Carolina now. When he started with me, he had 0 units. Now he has over 6,000 units. All right. And one of the things Bob does is he signs on as a key principal with my students. Like someone's looking to buy a 250 unit property, they're not qualified to get a mortgage. Bob partners with them and they get across the finish line. And he came on one time with a couple of other students of mine, and I introduced them, and we broke the ice by talking about his first apartment complex that I helped him buy, which is a 36 unit HAP property. And one of my other students called me the other yesterday and said, "Hey, I got a HAP property under contract." I said, "Ugh, call Bob." Talk to Bob and let him tell you about how HAP properties work before you go too far down this field. He then informed all of us on that call that he now owns 37 apartment complexes. That 36 unit that I helped him buy was his first one. Now he owns 37. One of the nicest men in the world. I'm just going to close out here, just tell you some about the other students of mine. Jason Stubblefield. Jason, this is the coolest thing. He's out there teaching people how to buy apartment complexes. He was my student. I mean, I helped him buy his first deals. And that's a compliment to me that my students are now out there teaching other students. Honest to Pete, I have some students that have their own training programs. Here's Alec from Seattle. 6 months after talking with Charlie's excellent seminar, we now own this beautiful 21 unit apartment complex. And then, Lisa Soviak. Duncan introduced me to Lisa. Lisa got into trouble with an investor, and she was going to lose all of her retirement money. She put all her retirement money into this deal, and she structured it the wrong way. And then she was going to lose it. And Duncan says, "I need you to help this woman out." She is one of the sweetest, nicest people. She still owns that property to this day, and it's making a lot of money for her. And we were able to save it. So that's it. So, folks, the 2 most important requirements for major success are first being in the right place at the right time, like you are today, and then actually taking action and doing something about it. So here's how it works. And actually, I'm also going to ask you, I have right here that you can send, oh, you know what? That's the wrong email address. Hey, here's what I need you to do. Kelly, can you put your email address on the chat box? Folks, send Kelly an email, and in the line, subject line, I want you to say application. And then we will contact you to talk about where you are and what you're looking to do to make sure that you're the right fit for our program. Then we'll tell you what the costs are. And believe me, folks, it is very affordable. I'm giving it away. And not only that, but we're making it, you can either pay one lump sum or you can pay over time in the 6 months. We want to make it available for everybody. So get down Kelly's email, Kelly Lovergirl 7 @gmail.
No, it's Clover Girl. Clover Girl.
It's K Lovergirl, Kelly. Nice try. I know how to read. Clover Girl. Yeah. Yeah, nice try. Send Kelly an email. I want you to put application in the subject line. Kelly's going to send it to us. We're going to work together. We're going to go through all the applications, and we're going to talk to you about how it works, and then we're going to get you on board. We have, January 22nd is when the first program starts, and then the doors close, and you'll have to wait if I open up another one. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to work with me, this is how I'm doing it now. I'm doing group coaching. I'm not doing the one-on-one like I did before, but don't worry. everyone gets a hold of me and they can all talk to me anytime they need to. So
Charles,
that is it.
hey Charles, question.
Yes.
Group coaching virtually or
Oh yeah.
or okay, or in person, yeah.
Oh God, no. No, you don't want to come to my house. I don't want you at my house. I mean, look at some of these characters.
All right, so Charles, I'm going to open up the questions, but
Yeah.
I do want to state that I think you covered, for a new person, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think fear to take action is probably the biggest step. To access the funds and how to, make offers is really the second and third thing holding people back.
Yeah.
I think anything after that, where they have your expertise to um, guide them through the nitty gritty is very useful. But
Yep.
kicking off, like you said, is having that confidence and being part of a community or a team, cohorts, to make them feel good. They give that feeling of I can do this is very, very important. And knowing that your team has money and also, like you said, key partners that will sign in and give them the expertise. Not key man, what do you call it?
Oh, key principles.
Key
Yep.
principles. Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
General
that's going to
partners.
become very important in your bigger deals.
Yep.
So that's good. And Charles, would you suggest this program for a person who's looking just to get into like a 4 unit or something like that?
Listen, that's how you start. That's how you start is with a 4 unit. And then, but here's the thing. Okay, I have a student of mine who is buying a 3 unit. Okay, there's a punchline to my story. He's buying a 3 unit. It has 4 garages in the back. It used to be a 4 unit. It has 3 garages, and now he's turning the main building back into 4 units, and he's converting the 4 garages into 2 ADUs. So now he's got a 6 unit property that he bought as a 3 unit with garages. Now he owns a 6 unit. And here's the rub. He's offering $2 million for it because it's in San Diego. So listen, I don't care about, how many units, the numbers are all the same. You got to make this work for you and you just build up your portfolio just like Warren Buffett does.
Okay. So we were discussing earlier the market in Boston. So you would help people do this out of state that they don't need to stick to
Oh yeah,
Massachusetts directly.
absolutely. My students are all over the country. Yep. It doesn't matter to
All
me.
right.
It's the same
All right.
same concept wherever you go.
And then in regards to finding deals, can you give us a little bit of information on how you would, set up a sample, give an assignment to go find deals? Is it
Oh,
LoopNet or is that where they still go to die?
God, he listened to me all those years ago, didn't he? Yeah, we have a whole bunch of different ways to find deals. I have a whole lesson, an hour and 45 minutes long, how to find deals where no one else is looking. And that's what you want to do. I mean, when these gurus have their big boot camps, I can guarantee a LoopNet knows that what weekend it happened because their membership spikes because everybody goes rushing to LoopNet and signs up for a free account on LoopNet and they all go looking for deals. I've talked to many brokers about LoopNet and they say, when we put a deal on LoopNet, within 3 days, we've got 1,700 requests for additional information. And out of those 1,700, about 10 people make offers. And folks, when you're one of those 10, the cream has just risen to the top. And now the broker knows who you are. And they don't want to deal with 1,700. They want to deal with people who are making offers because those people are real. So these are some of the things we teach you, but we teach you Crexi, LoopNet, CIMLS. We go through all of the teaching you in your market how to find the brokers that fly below the radar screen. I show you how to all the different nuanced sites that you need to know how to go look for. I'll tell you, one of the best things that nobody looks for, an auctioneer site. There was an auctioneer in Watertown who's got a whole section on real estate. And these are estate sales for real estate. How many of you are looking at that site? you got to go looking for those sites. There are so many of them that you want to get out there and just systematically every single week so things are dumping in your emails. You can check out deals. I mean, that's your job. That's your job, is to find deals and make offers. Period.
All right.
So,
Just a curiosity. I mean, would you send out letters of intent, or would you make a full offer first?
oh, okay. So the problem with doing a full offer is, that's really a legal document that a lawyer should review. Now, I am a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer, but I'm going to advise you as you make offers on the contracts. Brokers love to go to contract because they don't want to dick around with the back and forth on a letter of intent. They want to get the deal under contract so nobody else steals it from them. That's their problem. When you deal with a purchase and sale contract, you're dealing with legal fees. And so why bother dealing with legal fees if you are not even going to come close on the terms of the offer? So make a letter of intent. It takes you no time. A letter of intent is a 2-page document. It takes you no time to draft a letter of intent. You just send them out. Just send them out. And if you got a response, you reel it back in, like, okay, let's take a look at this one a little bit more. And
Yeah, so I guess my point that I was alluding to here for those who really like to do this, but they think, oh crap, if I put out an offer, where am I going to come up with my deposit money right away? Blah blah blah.
yeah,
So that you don't need money to make an offer.
nope. Doesn't cost you a thing to make an offer. And if you don't have the money for the earnest money, that's why you go in the cohort. And you get on the WhatsApp and you say, "Hey, I just made an offer on a 50-unit property. I think I might have an interesting deal. Anybody want to partner with me? I'm going to need $20,000 for earnest money deposit." Oh yeah, hey, I got 20 grand. Let me send me the deal. Let's take a look at it. And that's how the program works.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, just again, we've launched a fractional app, so we have a lot of investors who want to, they have, $5,000 here, $5,000 there. So yeah, that runs the whole background of
Exactly.
putting these deals together. So if you can find a deal, not only Charles cohort, but with Boston RIA, and across with the US now with fractional, get 20 people in there giving you, $10,000 each. It's very easy to do at this point.
Yep. Exactly. I love it.
So, all right. So really, Charles, what they have to do is they'll email Kelly
Yep.
for an application. Molly will reach out from your office. Now, will she speak to them or you speak to them?
No,
And
I'll probably speak to you. I want to find out
okay,
who you are, what's your experience, are we going to work well together? That type of thing. I want to make sure that we're a good fit. My clients become my friends. And
yeah.
as you can see, like, all those people that, have been with me for years, this is a 6-month program, but we'll be friends for the rest of our lives. And that's typically the way I work with my clients. So.
So, can you describe, is that like a once a week, every 2 weeks, or and
Yeah,
what the homework?
my teaching is going to be once every 2 weeks.
Okay, and
My
that
live
is
teaching.
and then you give homework in between.
Yep, homework on every other week, homework, and then you'll be communicating with other people in the cohort program, all the time. It's wide
Okay,
open.
and you have a back end system where they can, if they miss a week, they can view the
Oh yeah, yeah,
week they
yeah.
miss. Okay,
Yep,
okay. So,
yep.
guys, everything is there for you. There's no excuses. Really, you just need the desire. Set aside. What's your normal time frame for your class every other week?
Oh, it's open ended.
Okay.
Because I'll just sit there and I will answer any questions and I will teach as long as I have to go, and then I'm done. And then
Okay.
go back and watch the videos and you'll understand it. It's a real hands-on, and I want people to ask questions because I went through 4 years of college and didn't ask one question and got a lousy education. I went through 4 years of law school, asked every question in the book, and got a great education. And the difference was
Mhm.
my dad was paying for college and I was paying for law school. So, folks, you're paying for this. You're going to ask questions and I'm going to teach you.
All right. So, guys, I'm going to open it up to questions. Ed said, "What is the cost?" And
Yep.
then, if you want to put it, if your question in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, that is also recommended, along with seeing your pretty face.
Yep. All right. So the thing is, it's a $7,000 for the 6 months. It is, and then that's a one-time payment, and then we do weekly payment programs. I don't know what the exact weekly amount is, like 300 or I don't know. Don't quote me on that. There's a specific number. I just don't know it. But that's what the cost is for the 6 months of training with me, and yeah, that's the believe me. They got mad at me when I came up with that number. They said you're charging too little. And I said I want people in. I want to help as many people as I can. So that's how it works.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions? I think you did a great job. I think you
Good.
explained it all. Um, Guys, if there's anything, I will post this as a replay, but I honestly, I would like you to ask your questions now if you have any. He does bite sometimes, but at least there's a screen in front of you.
Yeah.
No, guys, I've known Charles for years, and like I said, I've introduced him to people, and he's helped them out. And I even remember Bob, so
Remember
gosh.
Bob? Yeah.
Yeah, remember Bob? I remember that crappy little first apartment building he bought that
Oh yeah, Villa something or other. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right. We were working on that one together. That's right.
yeah. So not doing this one. Yeah. So
Oh, and then
all right,
one of
guys.
my other students, another student has 8 complexes. I started with him. He had none. He's got his ninth one under contract, and it's a HAP property, just like Bob's first one.
Yeah.
And Bob would never do another HAP program again. And I said, hey, Frank, you got to call Bob. Just talk to him first. So,
Yeah.
Glenn, no guarantee, Glenn. Because this is me. This is me and my time. And so, who knows if I'm going to be around. I'm 72 years old, Glenn.
Hey,
Um,
Charles.
oh.
One question up here.
I was just gonna say for the very first email, we're just asking for the application. Like you don't need to hear anything about us on that initial email.
No, yeah, just ask us. That's really just going to open the our channels of communication. And I'll just kind of interview you and make sure that it's the right fit for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want you wasting your money. It's not a waste of money, but obviously, if it's going to put a strain on you right now, Charles, could you maybe just say, okay, they have this apartment building, it's appreciated in value, but people want to live and spend some of this money that they're making offers on. Can you tell us how that kind of works? What kind of structures are put in place so
Oh,
they
what do
know
you?
they can get the rewards of their
Oh,
building
okay.
appreciation?
So let's take a look at Janice. Janice has now owned this property for a while. So Janice is now probably able to pull off a nice cash flow off this property. I don't know how many units it was. Um, oh, by the way, yeah, I look good,
Yeah,
don't
he's
I, Glenn? Huh?
85.
I look good. Um, so Janice now has options. She can go and refinance that property and pull money out. And the thing is that the property she's only gonna take enough money out of that property so that her debt coverage ratio is sufficient to support the new loan that she refinanced with. All right. So that way she can take a chunk of money out of her property and stick it in her pocket, and the property continues to cash flow. That's one way that she could do it. She can take that money and roll it over, buy another, sell that property, do what's called a 1031 exchange, and buy a bigger property, and just continue to grow that way. That's like what Warren Buffett does, is he just keeps reinvesting the money into bigger and bigger deals. And she's probably receiving some nice cash flow from the property now after all this time, where hey, she'll just let it ride.
Yeah.
She keeps
So
reinvesting into it. It was my first apartment. I owe 10%. When I bought it, it was a 1031 exchange from a townhouse I owned. Bravo, Janice, bravo. That's exactly the way you do it. You take money from one deal and you parlay it into another one, and you build it and you build it and you build it. That's how people make millions in this business.
Charles, when they do this loan, that money becomes tax-free, correct?
Yeah, when they do a 1031 exchange, what they do is there are certain, requirements, and you have to, follow the IRS's guidelines. But if she sells that property And the key is she has to have what's called a qualified intermediary, a QI. The QI takes all the proceeds from her sale. Janice never touches it because as soon as Janice touches it, it becomes taxable money. So the QI holds the money and Janice goes shopping. And Janice, before and after, I'm not going to get into specifics, but Janice finds another deal and takes all that money that she made off that first deal, puts it into another deal, and it's non-taxable. And that's how the rich get richer. You know,
And then when people are buying these rundown properties or investing money, then they turn them around within a year. They refi. They can pull money out and live on that money tax free at that point too. Is that correct or no?
oh, no, that's taxable income unless I missed something that you just said, that would be taxable income to them.
All right. I thought if they refied and took out a loan.
Oh, I'm sorry. If they refied, yeah.
Yeah,
The refi is not taxable money. So Janice could have taken all that money, put it right in her pocket, not paid a dime in taxes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, this is a couple different strategies there, but definitely, you're going to be making offers. You're going to be pulling out your rewards.
Yeah.
So what would you expect as a timeline to somebody getting involved with you to, let's say, making an offer? I know this is variable. How long is the length of string? But, you know, they could buy at least one 20 unit within the first year that they could have a nice income from.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the whole point behind this cohort program is it's a 6-month window. You see, I've had some students who've been in my program for years before they buy their first property. We're running out of time, folks. We're all running out of time. I want us to just focus on this 6-month window and get something closed in the next 6 months. Let's make 2025 a great year. Let's make this happen. And so you are going to get this first deal done in that 6-month window. And I tell you, between you and me and the lamppost, it's an artificial deadline, but they work. And I'm going to make sure that you think, hey, you're going to lose me in 6 months. You better do what I say. You better be making these offers. What do you mean? It's been a whole 2 weeks and you haven't made one offer? You're not doing this. If you want this to happen, I'm giving you all the resources. I'm taking away any lack of confidence. I'm taking away any fear. You got 6 months. Let's go to work. Let's do it. So I want people to have that sense of action. They've got to take action.
Good. So,
Yeah.
guys, it comes down to you. How badly do you want this? And the money might seem a little bit big for some of you, maybe some not. But for the education you receive, which is also a tax write-off, this is a great opportunity. Like I said, Charles has been doing this a very long time. Owns his own units. He's a lawyer, so he has a great background in doing this and guiding people. I've met a lot of students, not all the students, but I met a lot of students going down the road with Charles for the last, I don't know, 12, 10 years. I don't know how many years. It's been a long time. But we have one more question and we'll end off with that.
Well, you got 2 questions.
2. Okay,
questions.
go ahead. Okay,
All right.
good.
The name of the website is Crexi, CREXI.com. That's one. How do you make a profit when investing partially in a deal? Well, you own a partial of the profit. Just like any other deal, if you own 25% of a company, you get 25% of the profits. What are your thoughts about the talk of 2025 being a price correction in real estate? Yeah, what we're seeing is like the ask and the bid are starting to come closer together, which is good, meaning that they're being a correction. But here's the thing, Ed, is the cap rates. When you say the correction, what's happened is the cap rates have escalated over the last couple of years, which means those people that bought at the wrong time, they're now finding out that the properties are undervalued and they can't pay off the loan when it comes due. So we're going to have, I think I heard the number, like $1 trillion of debt maturing that will go into default because the value of the property. And that's a huge opportunity for us. This happened back in 2009, 2010. People made millions. It's going to happen again. And that's why I'm telling people, Give me 6 months. Let's get you up and running so you can get in there and you can start taking over these types of deals. Better to pay for education. You can lose a lot more by buying the wrong building. And Janice,
so
no
true.
kidding. No kidding, Janice, and I'm not going to let it happen to you.
And speaking of taking action, speaking of taking action, I've been hearing from some of you already, like Dan and Akita, and so I'll be letting Charles know.
Beautiful.
Thank you for offering the bonus. Really, really good. And guys, this is a phenomenal deal. Let me tell you, I mean, there's other people charging way far more and give you a lot less.
Yeah.
So make sure that when you click on the link below or you email directly Charles, that you put in the subject line cohort application -DW, that's my initials. So you get the special fast action bonus. And guys, I got to tell you, I've been through this. Charles is phenomenal in the help that you receive and ensuring that you're successful in this. You're going to not only get the information, you're going to get into a network of people who can support you. Not only Charles, but he can put you in front of the money lenders, the private lenders, the commercial lenders. He can take you to new places and surround you with people that everybody and anything you need can get a deal done. Okay, so the only thing is stopping you is from sending an email to Charles and just talking to him first. He doesn't want you to sign up and waste his time either. And that's why he has a high success rate in doing this, because you're going to have to get on the phone to Charles and just go through a small interview. And it's both ways. You interview him, he interviews you to see if you're a mix and you can join the cohort group. It's as simple as that. Look, guys, and when it comes to the investment, it's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your business. It's a tax write-off. All right. And you're going to need some tax write-offs anyway when you own your first multifamily building. So what do you got to lose? It's a no-brainer, guys. Let's start. Let's do it. Go through the program. You're not going to make an investment until you talk to Charles anyway. So he'll take it from there and we'll go in baby steps, or we'll go as fast as you need. If you have deals already, he'll take a look at them and tell you yay or nay, so he's going to protect you in the sense of he'll analyze and advise you that this is how we can make this deal better. Charles, I think I've even been knowing you to get on the phone and negotiate too with him, like talk,
Oh, right. Absolutely. I've got calls right after we do this that I've got to get back to some of my clients and their brokers because we've got to get moving on some deals. We've got a lot of stuff in the hopper. It is so much fun for me. I love doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love doing it.
So, if you can, get him on a conference call and make this happen, he's there for you. So you're going to get all the support you need. Charles, is there anything I should add to this to, just help them get them across that starting line so they can have finally a finish line?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like we say here, first thing you want to do is send me an email. Send it to Dobbins Law, Charles at Dobbins Law. All right. Make sure you put in the subject line cohort application, and you must include the -DW. So I'll give you that $1,000 off the 6 month tuition payment. All right. So make sure that you include the DW. That's how it's going to work. All right. Then what's going to happen is we're going to be back in touch with you. It might be me. It might be somebody from my staff. But what we're going to do is talk to you. I want to talk to you and find out, are you right for this program? Not everyone is. It might not be the right time for you. Maybe you need to do a few things. I listen, Duncan, you've already sent me so many students, and someone might call you back and say, thanks for this gentleman, but it's not a good fit at this time, but we're going to talk to him in 6 months and see how he's doing. I only want people who are going to take action and are going to be successful in this program who are signing up. That's the purpose of our initial conversation. But if you're in the program and I think you're good enough, you're going to sign up and we're going to get you going. And you'll be in there with a group of about 25 other investors, all like-minded, all ready to do the same thing, all working together towards achieving their multifamily goals. It's phenomenal.
Awesome. And that's what I love about the closeness, intimacy, the camaraderie of the group. Everybody really is friends, and they all work together, to support each other within this. And you're going to find that, it's you got to be around those people to be successful. If you got negative or you feel that somebody's looking down on you, because you're doing it, don't talk to them. Don't tell them what you're doing. Do this for yourself. It's about time. Make 2025 the year that is your year. So, I can't make it any simpler than this, to send an email first, go through, 10 minutes of talking to Charles to see if, you're good enough, and he's good enough for you. And that's it. And then we'll figure out the rest from there. So, Charles, thanks again for taking the time tonight to teach and to go through the new program. And I know people are loving it. I'm already hearing great things. You presented to Boston already, and wow, we had a phenomenal response to that. So, guys, I know if you're not in Boston, it doesn't matter where you are. You can do this. You can invest out of state. You can invest in your state. We'll find, you'll find the deals, and we'll tell you the best ways to structure it. So again, Charles, thanks very much. I'm excited about this. I've known you for a long time, and I've known the results that you're getting. So thank you. And I look forward to hearing some more great stories coming from you.
Thanks, Duncan. It's great to see you again. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Talk to you
All right,
soon.
mate. You have a good one. Bye, everyone.